Ah,
Ain't no something derpy. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime Derpy goes away. I know. Leave that Derpy alone. Good morning, everybody.
oh my God.
Welcome back to the show. This is episode 721 of the Two Dumb Gingers. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I did talk to the Derp Dog.
Yeah.
No need to worry, Mike. I know that you're concerned, but
Yeah. Deeply.
he is working on his channel, which is he's doing really awesome, and I'm
Yeah.
super
Yes.
proud of
Good
him.
job, buddy. Oh yeah.
And he said that he'll be back at it on Tuesday on his normal day. So he was pretty tied up this week with his channel.
Yeah.
So good for him. Working hard. He's working hard on it, man. So I can't fault him for that.
No, no, cannot. No. Like I was telling you off air, I'm proud of him. I hate that he's not here, but I
Yeah,
am proud of the Derpy. You know.
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Hollywood
Anytime
Derpy.
anyone, Hollywood Derpy, man. Anytime, one of your friends or colleagues or whatever can go and do what they want to do. Hell yeah.
Everybody misses Derpy.
Yeah. It's bad when I start to miss Derpy.
Yeah, I know it's real bad actually.
I was like, I'm going through like Derpy withdrawals. I need, like, everyone's ganging up on me. We need Derpy here to take some of my heat.
Yeah,
That's really why I miss Derpy. I need someone to take the heat off of me. I'm in the
because it's always
crosshairs.
one guy. It's always just one guy
Oh
that
yeah,
catches
it's
it. You know.
it's always one guy who catches shit, and right now it's me. I don't like that. Like, I respect the game. Don't get me wrong. I respect it, but
But
you know,
he's Hollywood Derpy, off doing his Hollywood things. Robbie Derpy Nero, Mike. How about Derpzell Washington?
Derbzel Washington's a good one.
Speaking of which, when he does come back, we do have to get into our new death pool. Val
Yeah.
Kilmer, Val Kilmer. He nobody won. So next
Mm-mm.
week, and Finch is back from Vegas. So probably early in the week, I'm guessing we'll see both those guys.
Yeah, it'd
Super
be
excited
awesome.
to see both of them back. I also do want to say tonight, do check out the two cranky Jagoffs. I'll talk more about that near the end of the show, but they are back tonight. So maybe set it on your reminder. Check out the guys, Finch and Tim tonight, 9:30. Good morning, everybody. Baby, it's opening day. It's the home opener for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're gonna
Yeah,
start
baby.
there. The hottest show in town. They're making it home. They're coming to visit and play the Pirates today. Of course, the Yankees I'm talking about, they're torpedo bats. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how this
Uh,
plays out, Mike. We have Mitch Keller on the hill. So we're putting a good pitcher up front, but this Yankees team they're hitting home runs at a record pace.
yeah,
I stopped keeping track over the past couple of days, but I do know they had 15 home runs through the first 3 games of the season, and then they had like two more the next night, and so this should be highly entertaining. It really should be. Um, who knows?
oh,
Who knows? Derek Shelton might not make it through the weekend, man.
he might not. That would be awesome. Yeah, I hate when people say, "Oh, I don't want to see anyone get fired." I do want to see people get fired who deserve it, and Derek Shelton's
Yeah,
on top of the list. I hate to say it, but it's true. Like, he is incompetent at his job. He needs to go. Not I think if we have like a better manager, this team would be a little bit better. Not a whole hell of a lot better, but you would hope you wouldn't see stupid lineups going out there like that Sunday lineup where a batter will have an awesome day and then you don't see him in the lineup for the rest of the week. Stuff like that would end, and with the hope guys would know how to run the bases and how to hit a cutoff man if we had a better manager as well.
yeah.
Yeah, that's my soapbox.
Just make sure we have the board up because I don't have my I don't have my secondary screen up. So if I just wanted to double check on that before we do start,
Yep.
Mike. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Pirates, they come home. They have a 2-5 record. The Yankees come to town with a 4-2 record. Still super early. Game is at 4:12, 4:12 today, which is usually the game time that they go by when it's actually the 12th. the 4-1-2 day. I'm not sure how that falls. Maybe it's a day off. Maybe they were back on the road. I don't know. But this is a 4-12 start, 4-1-2 today, Mike. And then also, as you mentioned, Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller was on the hill. And also Mark Fogel. Mark Fogel, the guy that was held by Russia from the North Hills, I do believe. He just got released about a month ago. He's throwing out the first pitch, so should be a good day. A lot of awesome events goes down at opening day.
Mm-hmm.
They do all kind of stuff for the fans. So if you are going down to the stadium to see the Pirates open up against the Yankees today at 4:12, go down early, enjoy yourself. I think they're gonna have parties over, and I think on Federal they're gonna have all kind of drinks and just all kind of stuff going on. So
Yeah.
do enjoy yourself. Get down there early. One thing I really learned, Mike, I did a home opener one year, man, and I had
Mm-hmm.
to piss so bad. That's the only thing that I really remember from that year. I just remember I had to piss so bad, and there was so many people, and it's almost at least back then it was almost a Steeler atmosphere, a Steeler game. And I couldn't get the lines were so long for the Johns, and I just couldn't get anywhere. I just remember being so miserable. Like me and a buddy of mine, we were drinking in the parking lot and talking to people and
Yeah.
hanging out and shit. And I just had a piss. That's all I could think. And you know how it gets to that point where it's just that's all you
Oh,
can think about.
that's all. Uh-huh.
And that's my latest memory of going down to PNC for the home opener to start the season. So we'll see how things go today. Again, Pirates hosting the Yanks. Pirates did, Mike. They did send G1 Bay back down to the minors, and also they traded Jason DeLay. DeLay
Yeah.
has moved to Atlanta, so that's one of the 100 catchers that we had in the staff, Mike. Of course, last year he was necessary because, Andy was injured all season, and then Henry Davis with his
Henry
issues.
Davis sucked. Yeah,
But so now Andy's back. I think that's why they did deal him. So DeLay, you won't see him on any more Sunday lineups, Mike. I know you just love your Sunday lineup. Bart bats all week, hits a bunch of home runs and has great games, and then you get that Sunday lineup with Jason DeLay behind the plate.
like how many games did we lose because we would trot out a Sunday lineup our Sunday lineup was always a guaranteed loss. It felt like because it was a bunch of I understand guys need days off, but every Sunday they all go into church at the same time.
Yeah,
what the hell's going on here? Like it to me it made no sense having that Sunday lineup. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate the way Derek Shelton manages this team. He's a thorn in my side.
You know what I would do, Mike? If I was a coach,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have the listen. And what bothers me most about the Sunday lineup is like when you're in contention and you're at the end of the season, and you need to win. Every game is precious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they run out that Sunday lineup. I would run my Monday lineup every day of the week if I'm in the. People are talking about getting tired, and I mean it's baseball. It's baseball, for crying out loud. You stand in the field for 3 hours, basically. They're not going to be tired. Just play your guys. You're trying to win. That in a month, and at that particular time of the year, in a month, your season's over anyway. Get the guys out there and play. They don't. It's not like they don't make any money.
Yeah. Like I can understand, catchers that's going to grind your knees. You want to keep your starting catcher fresh throughout the season, so you sprinkle them a little bit more days off than everyone else. But DeLay shouldn't have been out there every freaking Sunday when we had the Sunday lineup. You mix him in like throughout the week when you still have your best lineup out there. You put DeLay in there, so he's protected in the lineup, not with all the other. I hate to say the word bums, but with all the other bums compared to everyone else. It made no sense for me. I'm not a Clint Hurdle fan. It is. And I was never a big Clint Hurdle fan because I didn't like a lot of his decisions either, but I would happily take Clint Hurdle back over this Jamoke.
Yeah, at least Hurdle found ways to win and win a lot. I mean, come on, this guy, what has he done?
Yeah.
The Pirates do pick back up tomorrow. Saturday at 4:05 against the Yankees, and then they wrap up the series on Sunday with a 1:35 start. And that will be, Mike, that'll be opening weekend. So big weekend. If you're in the Buccos, even if you're not in the Buccos, the Yankees are coming to town. That's always a big deal. Get down to the stadium. If not, just enjoy yourself. maybe make your way to the bar and have a couple drinks and just enjoy the Pirates. Opening day only happens once a year. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Tortilla Jackson. What's up? What's up? Yeah, my man. It's Friday. I ain't got shit to do. What was the next line? You ain't got no job.
No job. How the hell you get fired on your day off?
I
Stealing
just heard.
boxes.
Now there's a rumor. The rumor for about the past 20 years about the last Friday movie, the fourth
Yeah.
installment. But they've never, for whatever reason, they've never been able to put it together. And now I just seen it again. That's why I wish Derpy was here. He's kind of the movie guy. But maybe on early next week when he gets in, we'll talk to him because I heard again and again. I don't know if it's a rumor. I've heard it many times over the past 2 decades, probably. The last Friday movie, the fourth movie of the whole series, is supposed to come out. But again, Mike, there's been movie posters, there's been promotions, there's
Yeah.
been this, and then all of a sudden it was like, no, that was all just a rumor. And now I'm seeing it again. It's saying it's supposed to come out next year.
Yeah.
I mean, that will complete my life if they would make a fourth Friday movie.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's looking like him and Warner Brothers and New Line have come to an agreement, so he's going to start writing the movie.
See, I heard that story so many times. That's what.
Yeah,
That's
but
the only thing
now I'm
concerned
looking
about.
at it, man. It's
Well, if you would have looked at it back in 2012, it would have
I know.
gave you the same idea.
Well, this is in Variety. That's what the big Hollywood, paper and stuff.
No,
If it's in
I don't
Variety,
believe it
it's
until I
true.
see it. I'm going to be
I know,
honest with
right?
you, Mike. It's only been 30 years since the first one was made, so we'll see. We'll see. Because I know Chris Tucker was an issue because
Yeah.
he didn't want to play in him anymore because he was the big weed smoker in the first movie, and I think that he felt that they were probably going to use him in that same capacity,
Yeah.
and he didn't want to be connected with that. So it was always something over the years. So
Yeah.
I think I want to believe it, but again, we'll wait. I'll see when I believe it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Good morning. What's up, Corey Beavers? Corey says, good afternoon. I'm ready for football, but I get the feeling that we either know exactly what direction we're going in or if we have no fucking idea what we're doing. Tortilla says, I don't think the Steelers know what day it is, let alone what to do. Sure feels that way, guys. But a lot of times also, I guess you're right. I was going to say, you know what? It basically feels this way the same way every year around this time. It don't. I thought we had a lot better feel on what we were doing last year, and it really feels up in the air this year. You don't know exactly what we're going to go after. You know what we need, and you know they're going to address all the positions eventually in the draft, Mike. But the not knowing, and we're gonna get into that here in a little bit because I do have some questions about what you think they're going to do, not what you think that they should do, but what do you think they are going to do? So think about that, Mike, in the first round of the draft. We will talk more about that here shortly. Corey says, Tortilla, I get that feeling a lot, but I want to believe that they're just fucking with us at this point.
Well, it's a carryover too from like the Kevin Colbert was GM. He was very tight-lipped, kept everything close to the vest, really, never said what he was going to do. And, Omar Khan learned that from him of just, you just keep it tight to the vest. You don't tip your hand at all. And, that seems to be what they're doing, just not tipping their hand. And this is like the first time they've ever actually talked about a free agent, used their name like Aaron Rodgers. Usually it's like, we don't comment on free agents. And I was like, oh, hey, we hope to have something worked out with Aaron Rodgers.
They usually just
and
say,
we have
Mike,
a deadline for Aaron Rodgers. So.
I like when I start talking, Mike starts talking louder and faster.
I got to get it in.
Sometimes I do it on purpose. I jump in. It's entertaining. But
asshole.
But yeah, I agree, Mike. But let's jump into a couple of these things, knock them out before we do get into the Steelers. Because once we get into football, it's hard to get out. So let's just jump in here real quick, Mike. We got the Penguins. They were back at it last night. They played at St. Louis. The Blues beat the Penguins 5-4 in overtime. The Penguins will be back in action, Mike, both tomorrow and Sunday. They play these next two games in a row. Tomorrow they play at the Dallas Stars. That game's a 3 p.m. start. And on Sunday, they're in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks, which is a 6 p.m. start. So if you're watching the Penguins, Mike, there's only 4 games left after these games this weekend.
Yeah.
We come back Monday, 4 games. Penguins will be done. Unbelievable. Just 3 years in a row. They were the longest team The
Yeah.
longest tenured team, like to not miss a playoff berth. It was like 18 years in a row or something like
Hmm.
that. And then
Right.
3 years in a row, the total polar opposite.
Now here
3 years
we
in a row,
are.
they're not going to make the playoffs, which is I always thought it's hard not to make the playoffs in hockey.
Yeah.
The playoffs are the hardest part, the hardest playoffs in pro sports. But getting
Hmm.
into the playoffs is really easy in the NHL, in my opinion, especially if you have a decent team, which I think that we have a decent team, all right?
Uh, yeah, we're getting close to having a decent team. Getting close.
But at the end of the day, at the end of the career of Ray Bork and Joe Sakic, I mean, them guys were never missing the playoffs. They were old men winning Stanley Cups, if I'm remembering right, back in '96.
That
Joe Sakic, I mean, they were old men.
they
Ray
were, but
Bork was, I
that
think Ray
team
Bork
around them,
retired after that year,
yeah, that
and
team
even
around them
Patrick
was
Waugh
stacked.
was older. So I mean, it was a team of older, good hockey players, though.
It was, but
Ray Bork. Listen to this: Ray Bork, Joe Sakic, Patrick Waugh. I mean, that's about what we have. I mean, we should be better in theory, even with Sidney Crosby, but we have good old players. What's the difference?
they had like Peter Forsberg in his prime. We don't have anyone approaching that level. Like the only one playing well right now is Crosby. Yeah, Crosby of the old guys is Crosby and Brian Rust. That's about it out of the old guys that are playing well. Then you got Raquel, who's up there. Like I think he's over 30 goals. He's playing
I
well.
don't know.
Malkin
That
hasn't
team
done
played really
much.
good.
Letang has and that was a
I
different era of
remember.
hockey too.
I remember watching that, Mike, and I just thought this team they're so good.
Yeah,
And now that
yeah.
I'm looking back, I'm thinking, how were they so good being so old? Um, but that's where we be. We 3 years in a row, Mike. We're gonna miss the playoffs. The Penguins are.
Yep.
What will have to happen in order for this to eventually come to an end? I mean, we keep saying the same thing year after year, and they bring in a new GM. They bring in this guy. They let Gensel go down the road. I mean, so moves are being made.
Yeah.
Nothing is getting better. I mean, okay, they won a couple games here at the end of the season. You really can't warrant that as playing better hockey. I mean, what about the rest of the season when you stunk all year?
Well, they finally have young talent that they brought in via trade because they were trading all their young talent to go on those cup runs, and they were having trading away all their draft picks. Now that Dubas came in, he's filtered in or scout out a lot of older guys too that were picked up here and there along the way. Brought in a lot of younger talent, and those guys are now coming in and playing, and they're playing some pretty good hockey down the stretch. The younger guys, so next year, man. I'm putting it down next year that they make the playoffs. They make the playoffs. Now, do they get out of the first round? Maybe not, but I think they make the playoffs next year. I'm calling it right now. Penguins are a playoff team next year.
Mike, the Pittsburgh Penguins just this past week had giving up their 15,000th goal against
Yes.
in the team's history, Mike, which is the most of any of the non-original 6 hockey teams in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
And they also scored their 14,793rd goal, which is the first amongst all the teams that aren't original 6 teams.
Yeah.
So if you're not the original 6, which the Penguins aren't, they're
Mm-hmm.
the very next, and you know what?
Yeah.
They're leading the way and all that. So that's always a good thing to
Yeah.
see. Certainly because they didn't do anything in the late 60s, the 70s, even halfway
Yeah.
through the 80s, up until the 90s when they won the Stanley Cup
Yeah.
twice. So
Yeah.
not bad for a team that basically just
No.
started about 30 or 35 years ago.
Yeah. For like being in that first wave of expansion, the Penguins have been arguably a top 5, top 3 franchise in the NHL. You look, 5 Stanley Cups since once they came in. How many Hall of Famers? How many? The Penguins have 2 guys on the Mount Rushmore of the NHL, Lemieux and Crosby, arguably. So not bad for a little old franchise here in Western PA.
And that old guy that played in net there for quite some time, he's not too shabby either.
No, he was
As
not. Little
as he
flower.
continued to pad his numbers, as he continued on, Mike, in his career, I love the
Yeah.
way it turned out for him.
Oh,
Early, it seemed disastrous in his
yeah.
career. A lot of bad play by the goalie, chasing the puck out, passing it right in front of the net when you're out on the
Right.
board.
Right.
How many times do we see this guy? So the way the guy's career turned out, I think is absolutely amazing. It was unfortunate that he couldn't be with us, but he did continue. He continued to pad his stats, Mike, and he continued to be one of the top 5
Ooh.
best goalies in almost everything that you
Yeah.
look at. So
Mm-hmm.
good for him. Good for Flower. I didn't see that coming in a million years.
They,
during his early years. I thought this guy is not going to last in the NHL.
yeah,
But Mike, some guys they are committed to fixing things and making it
yeah.
better. And Marc-Andre Fleury did just that, and he had an amazing career because
Fuck
of it.
yeah, he did. Like you can see, like he had the talent, he had the athleticism. It's just he finally was able to get it under control. And then once he did, he became, like you said, one of the greats of all time. It just sucks that we couldn't make it work to keep him around here. But my God, just watching him go off and still be a dominant goalie for a long ass time after, great to see from Flower.
Yeah, love Flower, man.
How can you not?
Also, Mike, I went on the statistic for Sidney Crosby. Another thing I came across this morning. Sidney Crosby's career 1,677 points. Mike, in the class of '05,
I saw this one
Crosby
too.
has 1,677 points. The next 8 players in that draft have a combined total of 1,662 points.
uh, I'm no math major, but I think Sydney did a little bit better than those guys.
I always wish that Ovechkin and Sid came from the same draft. I think that would have
Yeah,
been so perfect. What a
yeah,
perfect, you know what I mean? For
that
their
would have been a
story.
wild. Like who's going one, who's going two that year? Like would the Penguins have taken Ovi? Would they have taken Crosby?
And they both would have the same exact period of time, and you could always compare
Mm-hmm.
stats and say, but I mean, 1 year difference isn't that bad, but it would just been it would have
No,
been ideal if it would have went
yeah,
that way.
it
Good
was.
morning, Yinzer Joe. What's up? What's up, brother?
What
Yeah, go
up?
ahead, man.
It was cool though because of the lockout. Their rookie year was the same year, and I think they came in the year at the same time because the way like a lockout worked or some
Right.
shit. Yeah, so that was cool too. And just how their whole careers have been intertwined.
Yeah, man. Um, 4 games, 4 games for these Penguins, Mike. It's hard to believe. Season went so fast.
Yeah.
But the 4 more games after this weekend, they'll be done. Also, Mike, I talked a little bit about the rookie Bub Carrington from the former the Pitt basketball team. He goes off again last night. This rookie, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 3-pointers made in another
Ooh.
Washington win. I'm telling you, watch this kid, man. He's something special. Good morning, P. What's up, brother? Ovechkin did come from a lab.
They taught him everything but defense and passing.
Yeah. I think the only thing they taught him was go to that circle over there. And when the puck comes, you
Good
just
at that.
fire.
Grip it, and rip it. Like
I don't think I've ever seen Ovechkin do anything else.
no one could stop it. You knew it
Yeah.
was coming, and you can't stop it. It was like Lemieux from the opposite side was the same way. You knew it was coming, you couldn't stop it. It's like Steph Curry in threes. You know it's coming, you can't stop it. Like Derpy in a bag of donuts. You know what's coming. He ain't stopping.
Let's see what else we got here. A couple more things, and we will be heading into the NFL and the Steelers. I promise you, a lot going on this weekend. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to get all this stuff out of the way first.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to the NCAA women's basketball tournament, Mike. That starts tonight. The Final Four does, of course. Tonight, the number 1 Texas and the number 1 South Carolina. That game starts at 7:00 p.m. The winner of that goes on to the championship on Sunday afternoon to face off between the winner of the number 1 UCLA Bruins and the number 2 UConn Huskies. UConn is the only team that's not a number 1 out of all 8 teams between the men and the women in the Final Four this year. The second game tonight is 9:00. So starting at 7:00, all the way till probably about 11, you got women's Final Four basketball. That's tonight. And again, the winner of those 2 games, Mike, the winner of UConn and UCLA and Texas and USC will face off Sunday afternoon, 3:00 p.m. for the women's national championship. Then, of course, the men, they play tomorrow and Monday. And the games tomorrow, Mike, in the Final Four, are number 1 Florida versus number 1 Auburn. That would be Finch's team and Derpy's team. And from our picks, Mike, that game starts at 6:09 tomorrow. In the second game between me and your team, number 1 Houston versus number 1 Duke. That's a 8:49 start, Mike. And the winner of those 2 games go on Monday to play in the national championship game at 8:50 p.m. It's going to be again, Mike. So all number one teams. It's going to be great
Yeah.
basketball. They're number one for a reason. They made it to the championship for a reason. Nobody could beat all four of those teams for a reason. This should, in theory, be the best basketball you've seen all season. And as far as college hoops goes, I'm going to enjoy it, Mike. It starts today at 6:09, and it will conclude Monday night. Monday night. Always a fun Monday night on national championship.
Fuck yeah, it is.
It's crazy, Mike, because look, look, we had said if you blink, you miss
Yeah.
March Madness. Come on, it's over. March Madness is over.
Yeah.
It just started. Remember,
on.
yeah, gone, done for the year. So, and also, Mike, scoop on the gals. WNBA does pick up next month. I believe it's a
Yep.
May 17th start. So the gals will be back at it. Caitlin Clark and company, and all them superstars. A lot of women I learned about over the past year, and I'm excited to watch the WNBA a little bit more this year, Mike. I've certainly grown more interest after all the storylines. I think it was last year. They didn't have the storylines this year, so it wasn't as exciting.
Yeah.
But last year's stars pulled me in. I'm pulled in. I'm ready. I want to watch some WNBA and see what Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all them gals
Yeah.
do.
And it's not a shtick from you. I do stop by the studio from time to time, and you do have the WNBA on.
I mean, it's kind of weird that
And it's
I'm wearing women's underwear, but nonetheless,
I was willing to leave that one out, bro. I
you
figured that
can't
was
leave
like
that
just
out.
I saw that we locked eyes. It was like one of those unspoken, hey, you saw it, I saw it, but we're not going to say anything. So I was respecting the game there by not saying anything. But
Let's get a little bit closer to the NFL, Mike. The
yes,
UFL. The UFL, they are
Opa.
also back in action today. If you're ready to watch some American football today, 8 o'clock tonight. 8 o'clock tonight, Mike. The Birmingham and Michigan teams go at it in the UFL. That's an 8 o'clock start. That's the only game for Friday. Saturday, San Antonio takes on St. Louis on a 6:30 start, and then the same schedules they had last week. On Sunday, there's two games. Sunday's Houston at Arlington. That's a noon start, and then the second game is San Antonio. That's San Antonio, St. Louis, 6:30, and then the other one on Friday was Memphis, DC. I'm sorry, or Saturday. I got them all mixed up. There's a game tonight, a game tomorrow, two games Sunday. You get the idea. But
Yeah.
Sunday is San Antonio, St. Louis, and then Houston and Arlington, and then tomorrow is Memphis and DC. That's your team, Mike, with the Beer Snake. So,
Beer
and
Snake.
they're looking good. They're
Dallas,
looking good.
baby.
They knocked off Birmingham last week, so
Yeah.
we'll
Let's
see what they
go,
can
boys.
do. Before you know it, that's going to be over.
I know, right? Before we know it, man, training camp's going to be here.
Yeah,
Taste it. I can smell it. I can smell it. I can hear the sounds.
Also, the no, Joe, you guys see Caitlin Clark's Panini basketball card worth $366,000.
Ooh.
No, I haven't heard about that. I do like Caitlin though. Also the Hounds, they're back in action next week, Mike.
Yeah.
Next week is the Hounds. They'll be back in action next Saturday, and then also the Riveters are starting next month, Mike. The WFA, the Pittsburgh Passion, the girls football team. So we got all kind of things going on to occupy our time till the NFL gets back in action. But still, Mike, less than 3 weeks away now. We're less than 3 weeks away from the 2025 draft. It's unbelievable how fast. To me, at least, this is going fast. I mean, Mike, the draft less than 3 weeks. March Madness is already over. Again, blink your eyes. We're going to be in the middle of camp.
Yeah, God, I can't wait though. I
We
can't
sending
wait till
Derpy
training camp.
again?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
If
Send
he's not
Derpy
too
up.
Hollywood for us.
Yeah.
He's big pimping, man.
Yeah.
All the ladies want Derpy now.
He'll be back. He'll be back on early next week. It'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I know, like I said, I know the guys. I know people on the board miss them. Let's get to some of these messages, Mike.
Oh yeah, board's been going off.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna start down here where Tortilla says this. It feels like the Steelers pick a position out of a hat and ignore that position that year. This year's quarterback, last year's wide receiver. What's next? Corey says, safely, I think we lose Minka next offseason, and then they just pick up some bullshit safeties, and our secondary will be awful. but we'll have a fire offense again. But again, it'll cost us in the playoffs. Tortilla says I was going to say probably safety. There's whispers we are drafting a safety high this year. I know that in a couple of mock drafts, Mike, I've been seeing some safeties. So if we
Yeah.
are going to address that, we'll probably. How many picks do we have altogether?
We have six.
6
Picks
altogether,
this
just
year.
not the second
Yeah,
round.
it's just not the second round. Yeah.
Corey says if we draft a safety with the other needs we have, then that tells me the Steelers don't plan on winning a Super Bowl for at least 2 years. Tortilla says, I agree. I'll be upset if we draft a safety unless it's like the second round. Yeah, you always get like that safety out of Syracuse. Do you remember there was like it seemed like for 20 years in a row we'd always get that
Oh my
guy
God.
late in the draft. Yeah. He was a safety from Syracuse. He never played.
Yeah, never. Kevin Colbert's special was the project left tackle in the 4th round, and then the safety pick later in the draft. Kevin Colbert specials, baby.
Kevin, I don't know what it is you got about Kevin, but I
he
didn't
had
think he did
some
terrible.
great drafts, but he had some terrible ones, and he
did.
Don't get me wrong. Like he had great drafts, but my God, when they would have terrible draft picks, because he was buddy with all the media, he just walked by scot-free, never got any of the blame. And you know what?
Well,
I can respect that.
That's
not his fault. I respect that. That's the dream right there, to be so well liked that when you fuck up, people just don't even acknowledge it. They blame someone else.
So. But I mean, like I said, he was successful. We had plenty of good drafts.
He was,
as well, Mike.
but he had his ladder drafts.
That's like saying that Crosby didn't score last night. So I mean,
fucking trade that bum. Sidney Crosby's the worst hockey player I've ever seen in my life.
Ginzer Joe, the only reason the Steelers go for a safety in the draft is if they plan on trading Minka, who still has a lot of game to play. Corey says, at Tortilla, we shouldn't draft at all, in my opinion. We just picked up Thornhill, and there's more proven safeties in free agency. We don't need to waste a pick on that. Our first 2 picks will be on offense and then defensive tackle. Would you be worried if those wasn't our first picks? Would you be worried, Mike, if they go outside? And again, I don't think it's very likely. I think they're going to go in, the first 3 rounds and certainly get what they need, like you're supposed to do. Right? The first 3 picks anyway. We don't get anything in the second round. But it just feels like a lot of the same to me. You're going to get your safety late in the game or late in the draft. You're going to get some sprinkle positions that are going to need depth eventually.
I can see like later in the draft, like a corner that can play slot and safety, like one of those guys. Need someone else to back up Beanie or be another inside corner along with Beanie, and someone who can play a little bit of safety as well too. Even though we have other safeties there, but a guy that can do both corner and safety, it's a nice versatile piece to have.
Tortilla agrees. It's not an expensive position to replace either. It really is not. Unless you have the superstar. No. If you have a superstar, then he costs you. Otherwise, safeties are not too costly. Tortilla says 7-round picks usually get cut or put on the practice squad, so I really don't care what and that's what I'm saying. They might draft the tight end from Pitt with that pick. You know what?
God no. We're collecting tight ends.
Well, yes, I will take him because he's from Pitt, and as Mike would do for his team. But listen, we don't need a tight end, and both of these tight ends from both of these schools are probably going to be amazing in the pros. But if we go after another tight end, especially Mike, if it's that early to where we could still get one of those guys, I just think that's a bad move.
Or not.
You already have 2 very able tight ends, and I'm talking 2 starters in the league right now. And Mike, we had about 5 of them last year, of course, with Connor Hayward and Pruitt, and I think there was even Cordell Patterson. I mean, everybody was a tight end last year.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, so we don't. If they draft a tight end, I'll shit myself. Why would you draft a tight end at this position, Mike? There's still so many other things that they need.
Yeah,
I just can't imagine. I can't imagine they would go after a tight end.
Well, like Mel Blount was saying when I was watching his interview with Big Ben, he was like, point to a position on this team where they don't need someone. He's like, you need players at every spot on this team that can produce, but maybe tight end might be the only spot. We, like you said, we got Freiermuth, Washington, Connor Hayward's like that fullback type guy, and then you got Donald Farnham as your third tight end, unless you can find someone that's better than Farnham. But if we're going down to our third tight end, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel to find skill
Mike,
position
our
players at that
first
point.
tight end is barely getting action.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I'm
know.
saying?
Yeah,
We are so far off from needing that extra
yeah,
tight end. We
yeah,
so are, you know.
yeah. But like the thing is that like with
And even like anything beyond your first two tight ends, you could probably use somebody from the practice squad because again, that's where you're at. Before it was Michael Pruitt who did nothing. Connor Hayward, who everybody does, they want him out of here anyway. So again, to go after a tight end, I think that's insane to even consider. There's so many things that they need, and then there's also positions that they need to build depth at.
yeah,
Defensive line being primarily one. I think they get two
yeah,
people in the draft on the defensive line this year, somewhat moderately early and then one later. But like them 6 picks are going to get, they're going to get drained or absorbed pretty quick. The draft goes fast. 6 people
yeah,
is 6 people, and that's it, buddy.
yeah,
We're getting ready to
yeah.
go to summer and get to camp.
Yeah, and I think the only reason they're talking to that tight end from Pitt is he's a local guy, and certain schools are designated as local visits. They don't count as your official top 30 visits. So the guy's right next door. He's in the draft. Bring him over, talk to him. There's nothing wrong with meeting with the guy. It doesn't affect your other draft visits as at all. So might as well. He's right next door. Talk to him.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even tell him. Don't just walk over and talk to him. You don't even have to make it an official anything.
Yeah. Well,
It's not like
yeah.
they don't know the guy. They probably
I know
eat
they
and
just
hang
do
out
it
and
under cloak and dagger, but God forbid if they would do it under cloak and dagger, it would get leaked out. Next thing you know, the Steelers are getting penalized, losing draft picks.
yeah. I can't believe I honestly have to say I don't think anybody's doing anything that's not right in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
Oh
everybody's
no,
up to something.
oh yeah, exactly. It's just when you get caught, all the other teams like, how dare you? We would never do such things.
All right. So Yinzer Joe did say, see Caitlin Clark. We did PSA 10, of course.
That's for the
PSA 10.
grading.
What is that one?
This is the grading of that card. If it's like a graded at PSA 10, which is the highest grading level, it'd be worth that 366,000.
So in mint condition, basically. Is what
Yeah.
Okay. It's because she's white, Mark Malone says. Let's see. Mark Malone, you meant white hot from the field, right? This seems like it's going to get interesting. Mark Malone says, over enthusiastic intern Caleb. Yeah, LOL. You see where that lady said she was only popular because she was a white girl. Joe says the Steelers have 4 tight ends right now, 3 of them once. I know we have so much talent. I can't even believe we're talking about the tight end position because we don't use them. Let's say we used them and there was even a concern because Freiermuth had a major injury or that's not even the question.
Yeah.
Let's get a running back. Let's get somebody to run alongside Jalen Warren already. Because if he goes down, say he blows his knee, and again, it is a what if. I caught it on the board yesterday, but what ifs happen. What if happened a lot last year, over and over and over. And what ifs have been happening with Cole Holcomb for 3 straight years. And what ifs been happening for rookies every year for us for the past 3 straight years to where a rookie that we can't wait for doesn't play that year, doesn't get on the field. So, I mean, there is a lot of what ifs. But let's just say Jalen Warren, what if he blows his knee in game 1? So there's things that are a lot more important at this point than going after a 5th tight end, in my opinion. Let's see, Tortilla Jackson. I'm just being realistic. Arthur Smith loves his tight. I know, right? It's going to be like the old football games when everybody had number 88. Do you remember those? Like on the video games, every player had 88. That's what it'll look like out there with all these tight ends.
Hell yeah, I'm here for it. Fuck it. Just
run. They were all 88s, right?
Let's just trade. You know what? DK can play tight end. He's big enough.
Yeah. I don't want anybody doing anything they're not supposed to. You see what happened with Russell Wilson last year. He's pushing a sled around. We didn't get him back till the 10th week of the season. Just let the tight ends do the tight end things. Let the quarterbacks do the quarterback things.
Oh, you don't want to live dangerously. You're no fun.
No, I'm done with the dangerously. We got to get back to winning. Mark Malone, you realize there's an entire league, right? This combo feels like a modern version of the Burden Magic. You're better than that. P says tight end, slow receiver, or a weak edge blocker. Richard, what's up? What's up, my man? He says it would be great if our tight ends were you. Absolutely, but you know what? I guess that comes down to again, George Pickens should have been playing, had better numbers as a receiver. We just have not had an ideal
Yeah.
situation on offense. I think once we do, you'll start to see that. And it's kind of a waste to have 5 tight ends. Again, we're just not utilizing them. That's just people, 5 spots being taken by tight ends. But at the end of the day, they won't grab a tight end. I think that's a bunch of smoke and mirrors, guys. Let's see, Mark Malone. I guess you didn't see that commentator over at Over Enthusiastic Intern Caleb. Yinzer Joe says we just need a damn QB that will throw to the tight end. They're stupid talented there, and they won't throw there. And one guy's come on. You throw it anywhere. The guy's 19 feet tall. It's going to happen.
And they were doing it in the middle of the season when we were on that run of winning all those games. How many times would they start that first 2 drives with those out routes to Washington? And he was just gaining yards. Then all of a sudden, it just disappeared from the game plan. Like, it was easy chunk yards that they were getting, and then all of a sudden, gone. Did Russ stop looking for him? Did Arthur Smith stop running it? Or did teams scheme against it? But it was just like, it was there for a long time. Then all of a sudden, gone.
Yeah. That's the way our coach. That's an offensive coordinator. I'm like, there's just so many things wrong right now.
It's just like, well, it was there and then gone, there and then gone. It was frustrating.
But I certainly wouldn't be going after a tight end in the draft. I don't know. Call me crazy. Mark Malone says, and better than that. Caleb, sorry, I might have misread. Okay, they're talking about a clip, an article, something like that. I'm not even sure what they're talking about anymore. It was Caitlin Clark, and then they went crazy, and I don't know where they're at now. Pieces, most tight ends. Oh, these D.
P. I like Mark. It's on. Race wall. It's on.
Yeah.
That's how I could picture Cartman going running in. I think it was in the cafeteria when Stan and Token were about to fight. Yeah.
What is this? Mark Malone says ESPN is clickbait. That's my whole opinion. I don't know. I must be missing the whole story. What did I? I don't know. What are we on? What are they talking about?
Let's get back to. I don't know. Let's get back to the Steelers.
The race war. Was it because of the basketball card? Is that? I'm just missing the connection.
I don't know. I just know, like, from the race war in Cartman's voice, that was it was from South Park, what Mark Malone was saying there at the end.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously Cartman, but
yeah,
I didn't think it was. I
don't know. I want to talk.
I didn't think it was from Full House.
It's from what life goes on. Corky out there starting the race war.
Like the Steelers, they got beat out apparently because Joe Milton, he did go to going to Dallas, and apparently, the news is all over town that they beat us out. We were interested in Joe Milton, which I don't think that we were. I don't think that was a great move, especially after bringing back Mason Rudolph. Going after bringing somebody like that here is just that's dumb. I don't know why they even keep saying that. I mean, can you imagine Mason Rudolph, Joe Milton, and Skylar? I mean, that's in my opinion, that's the worst case scenario if you went that route.
Yeah.
Why? Why is everyone saying this, Mike? Why? But
see, I saw that in the paper too today, like from Tim Benz. Oh, the Steelers got beat out for Joe Milton. Like you said, the Steelers were never really linked to Joe Milton. They never had any connection to him. It was just a rumor of, oh, should the Steelers go get him? And the quarterback talk this time of the year, is off the charts. And the way the Steelers were going out and looking at all the quarterbacks in the draft, talking with Aaron Rodgers, bringing back Mason Rudolph, like Joe Milton had been nowhere on their radar as a serious move. But, and that has to be the narrative. Oh, the Steelers messed up again. How they missed out on this guy. One guy who played one game against third stringers. Okay, that was going to be the savior of the franchise. No, they weren't beat out for him. And why would you give up a third rounder for him?
Okay, here was the answer. Excuse me. Wrong pipe. Caleb, okay, this was the answer I was looking for. Caleb said ESPN commentator said Clark is only popular because she is white and from Iowa. Well, yeah.
And then
Mike and I was saying yesterday, it's not because she's white, because I'm sorry, what's the girl, Mike? Bukers.
Paige Bukers.
Paige. Mike, she is playing for UConn, and
Yeah.
they're talking about how great she is. Try going to a school that is never good,
Yeah.
and go back to the finals 2 years in a row. She's just she's a great basketball
Yeah.
player. I think that the race thing is such a ridiculous narrative
Well, and
because all right, yeah,
what I saw in the clip that I saw, she said it wasn't like, oh, she only popular because she's white. Like, no, it helps that she is a white girl from Iowa, and there's a lot of people in America who look like her, and you tend to look up to people who look like you. So yeah, she has a bigger following that way, and she's also a great basketball player. It wasn't just because she's white, everyone's following her. It's like, no, there's a lot of people who look like you, and then if you're good in what you do, you tend to look up to the people who look like you. It's like a representation thing where, like, a lot of inner city black kids, when Jordan was popular, started following Jordan because, hey, he looks like me and he's dominating.
Inner city black guys, every kid in America.
Yeah.
I didn't know one kid.
Yeah. Well, it started that way.
Like, I didn't know one kid that wasn't jumping up and going, Jordan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went to a small white school.
Yeah.
Believe me, we were just into them as much as Jordan as much as the black kids were. Believe me.
Yeah. But
and I got a Jordan.
Trying to get what I'm
Everybody
trying
had
to
Jordan
say here.
shoes.
Yeah, but
and I don't, because I don't think it had anything to do with his race. No, not at all. But I get what you're saying.
No, Jordan might have been the wrong comparison. I was trying to keep it in the sport. But
well, I was a big Shaquille O'Neal fan.
Like
never because he was a black guy. Never. Not once I didn't like him or dislike him. I was a big Shaquille O'Neal fan. But anyway.
Yeah.
Tortilla says, I mean, to be fair, I've never heard anything about any other white people from Iowa. Well, Slipknot is from Iowa. They're
Slipknot, that's about
wildly
it.
Successful. I'm sure there's a lot more. We're just not made aware of it.
You get death metal or
they look like every other white person, so nobody pays attention, right?
Well, they were smart. They put on masks to differentiate themselves. They were smart. Race war.
That's all we need is more white people with masks on. Let's see.
God damn it.
But sadly, ESPN wins because we were talking about it. Yeah. Well, I mean, we got, we've grown up on ESPN. It almost becomes like second nature, Caleb says, we were riding into the weekend. We have a better quarterback. We have a quarterback better than Rodgers. You will praise the greatness of a red-nosed QB and his nose hose very shine, like that song. You know what? Yeah. You know what? I was wrong on the date, Mike. Wednesday is the PMS show, the big night out. That's at 8:00 on Wednesday. I had the dates. It's like the 9th or the 12th, or it's the 9th. I was thinking it was the 7th is what it was. So big night out is 8:00 p.m. on Wednesday of next week. When I'm thinking we should have our answer on Aaron Rodgers by that point. I think, Mike, if it's past next Wednesday, between that and the draft, that period of time, that 2 weeks, I think that we have to have an answer by then. I think that even if we don't have to, I think we should demand an answer by then, just to kind of get the ball back in our field. I mean, you let this guy do what he wants. Again, that's what kind of precedent is that setting for him if he does come here? Yeah. I mean, is it going to be Aaron Rodgers' team, or is it going to be Mike Tomlin's team? Again, at some point, you have to, be the boss, because again, you are the coach. And so we'll see, guys. Wednesday, big night out down at PPG Arena for the PMS show. That starts at 8:00 p.m. Hopefully we have some kind of answer by that point, Mike. I want to know why everyone thinks Rudolph can win them games and win in the playoffs. He's 14-14 in his career. He had a shot in Tennessee. How'd that go? If we had Rodgers, we could win. P says it was some of her fans bringing that energy. She can ball. She can definitely ball. That's the thing at the end of the day. What did Martin Luther King say? You know what I mean? Judge somebody on what they're doing, what they could do, their character. And people are judging her wrongly. They should be judging her on the basketball player she is, because again, she scored more points than anybody ever in college basketball. That tells me that I like her for more than her being white. And again, she might be one of the best women basketball players ever. Not super athletic in that sense, but again, nobody in college basketball has ever scored more points than she has. That's a major accomplishment for anybody, even if you're Chinese or Mexican. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I that's me though. I hate race shit in sports. I just do. I love sports. I like it when that shit's not involved. Let's see where we at here. Tortilla says CTE ESPN would never. Love CTE ESPN. What the hell did I see? He was up to something lately. I don't know what it was, but it was good. Richard said it's clickbait for Steeler fans. The quarterback soap opera drama. Aaron, Joe, every college quarterback in this year's draft and next year's draft is on the board, plus every Steelers fan news feed. Mark Malone race war. You know who wouldn't have taken Caitlin Clark for their team? Rashard Mendenhall. Rashard Mendenhall would not take Caitlin Clark.
No.
Remember, what was he doing? He was building the all-black team or something like this.
The team white, team black was going to be the all-star game.
Yeah,
that was like
I didn't.
Everyone got united around that one, trying to figure out how the teams are going to be built. And then you had like the black football players and the white football players that were retired, trying to figure out, okay, who gets Puka? You know,
yeah.
Puka was a wild card.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Tortilla says if the WNBA was smart, they wouldn't shit on their star player. I agree. I think the way they mishand. Listen, she put a lot of asses in seats last year. What does the WNBA do next? In my opinion, is my question. You're either going to ride the situation. I don't care again if she's purple, green, yellow, white, black, whatever. If you don't take advantage of the Caitlin Clark situation, if you're WNBA. You deserve to fail. You deserve to fail. If you don't if you don't ride the Angel Reese, and you don't and Juju Watkins is also I'm seeing here from the USC, and all these other gals, Mike. I mean, if you don't utilize these names like the NBA did when it really was hitting its prime, you see Michael Jordan on every poster, Charles Barkley on every poster, Isaiah Thomas on every poster at the mall. You really have to push these women. If you need bigger than life players.
Yeah.
If your league is going to be successful, what's the difference between the UFL and the NFL? The NFL has bigger than life players. The UFL don't. It's the same exact game. They both play to get 4 down. They both get 4 downs. They're both trying to get touchdowns. It makes a huge difference having bigger than life players. The NFL does a great job at blowing their players up and putting them in jersey sales and everything else. You need some bigger than life players in these leagues that are failing. WNBA, the UFL moving forward, of course.
Like the one that they'll push will be Paige, because she came from UConn, and that's like the league. All the good players in that league are all from UConn.
You're right. The WNBA is basically UConn University.
UConn, and if you don't go to UConn, you don't get pushed as much. And I can see a Paige would be the one that they try to push, where you should be pushing Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson. She might be the best all-around women's player. She's like the reigning 2-time, 3-time MVP, but they won't push her.
Stewart. I like Brianna
Stewart. Stewart has that weird face. She has that weird face. She she looks like
a hideous chick.
She looks like the crackhead that you'd be down standing right 2 inches behind you in line, just like breathing on the back of your neck.
That hot ass.
But breath. She can hoop. Yeah, I'm nothing against her, but where we live, there's a lot of women that look like her that do stand behind you and just breathe on your neck.
I know. I was waiting behind this crackhead for 3 minutes the other day trying to get her autograph. I thought it was Brianna Stewart. Corey Beaver says the more comparable player would be Allen Iverson. You know what? I loved Iverson. I loved AI. I hated him and I loved him because, listen, he played at Georgetown. And I'm a Pitt guy. I didn't like him then. And then he goes to Philadelphia. What a scumbag city to go to. I didn't like him there. But at the end of the day, I thought, geez, oh man, this guy's 6 foot tall and he wins the scoring title in the NBA. This guy's taking a very limited talent team with the 76ers to the finals. If it wasn't for Shaq, Kobe, and the Lakers in the early 2000s, maybe Philly could have won that series. Again, I didn't hate him, but I hated him. Almost in the same sense as Dion. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't hate him, but I hate
because
him. I don't. It's just
like
it's a sports love hate thing. There's no explanation. I don't. I wanted to kick his ass anytime we got to play him
yeah.
in anything. But at the end of the day, I acknowledge he's great. I don't dislike him.
It's one of those like when they're on your team, whatever antics they do are fucking awesome. And when they're
Yeah.
on someone else, they're annoying, they're ruining the game. And it's like I think you and I were talking about this off air the other day. It's like, yeah, it's like back in the day when the Penguins got Darius Kasparaitis, who was a dirty player. We got him. Like the guy is just misunderstood. He plays a physical game. If you can't handle it, you're a little baby. Once you're on your team, that's my guy. When you're off my team, you're a disgrace to the league. Once you wear the sweater, man, all sins are forgiven.
Mark Malone. I only like Larry Bird and Kevin. And here's a good thing about this. Some people with this conversation could take them and run with that and do what they want. But at the other end of the coin, you know what? So what? You like Larry Bird, you like Kevin McHale, and they're white. Who cares? You like the NBA, so there's obviously not a huge problem. All right, maybe just maybe, Mike, the people with the fans in China. You remember they love Yao Ming, and they loved who's the other guy? Jeremy Lin. It's not wrong to love your people. The league is very diverse, and I don't know. I don't think it's wrong. Larry Bird was great. We got to stop being morons. Just love sports. Just enjoy your sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I hate that argument. Always comes up when somebody says, I was a Larry Bird and Kevin McHale. Oh, good. That was your favorite. I don't care what the reason was, because again, you're watching the NBA, so
Yeah.
Obviously you don't have that big of a problem. My uncle, he loved the Celtics, and I think that was just that older era too, Mike. They were making a transition, and a lot more black people were coming into the league, in the NBA, and the older people that liked basketball, maybe that did affect people a certain way. I don't know. I don't know. But again, to me today, I think if you like Larry Bird, good for you. He was great. It's the same if you like Charles Barkley. He was great. These guys are all great. I loved the '92 Dream Team. I loved the '92 Dream Team. That was one of my favorite things as a teenager, was watching that team play basketball. Pete Morton says Slipknot, Iowa, hence not many black people in Iowa. I wouldn't imagine. I don't think there's many people in Iowa, let alone black people. Corey
I
says
think there's more
Yinzer.
cows than people.
I do too. And I have a question about that also. They sell like 95 or 950 million burgers a day, McDonald's alone. I'd like to see where all these cows are. I'd like to see the situation, because there's a lot of continuous demand for fast food in large amounts in this country. I just like to see how that all plays out. I'm having a hard time picturing all the cows you would need for the amount of demand you have for a continuing food service here in America. There's a McDonald's in every block, but again, that's a whole other story for another day. I would just like to see how that whole thing was going down. I can't even imagine. It has to be a lot of cows to fill that
A lot of cows.
demand. Corey Beaver says that Yinzer, Tennessee is a dumpster fire organization where any player can go fail. Look at the success of the team since becoming the Titans. Yeah, he's right. Had probably about 3 good seasons since that.
Right.
One of them was a Super Bowl loss, and then maybe the other 2 was Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry years.
Derrick Henry to Artie Smith, baby.
Yes. One of the zaniest stories, this is from Caleb, one of the zaniest stories from my radio days was a dude who wanted to start a whites-only basketball league. The only whites in the NBA at the time were Hansbrough, Cody Zeller, and J.J. Redick. I got to tell you, I'm never all for the great white hope. I'm really not. I like to talk all sports, but that damn kid that keeps winning the slam dunk contest, geez, oh man. Can I get a brother that could dunk better than this dude already? This McGlunk, whatever his name is. What is it, Mike? McClung? Come on. Somebody's got to be a better dunker than this guy. He's won 3 years in a row. I'm almost in disbelief. I think I am only winning it now because he's a white guy. Because how does this even? These guys can fly through the sky and twist and turn and spin, and then there's this white guy. I don't get it, but whatevs. Let's move on here. Mark Malone says the white guys should have a grand wizard as a mascot. Also, Caleb says that's the Washington Wizards. If you do like the Wizards, though, you do have a young superstar over there, Bub Carrington, former Pitt basketball player, doing really well. Tortilla Jackson, never thought I'd hear Caitlin Clark and Allen Iverson in the same sentence, but I'm with it. See, me too. These people are great basketball players. I loved watching them, and I loved watching the difference over the years, Mike, between Allen Iverson when he was transitioning in the NBA. In Georgetown, he had just regular haircut, no tattoos, no
Yeah.
nothing.
Then he got
In the
into the pros. I
NBA, all of a
loved it.
sudden, it was like he turned into Dennis Rodman, basically. But I was there for it. I really enjoyed Allen Iverson's career. I really did. All right, let's see. We were talking about tortilla. We were talking about blackness. I mean practice. P says Stewie looks like a fresh zombie.
She does.
Stewie looks like a fresh zombie.
She does.
Oh, you talking about Brianna, huh?
Brianna Stewart, yeah, Stewie, yeah, she does look like a. At first, I thought, like, why are we talking about Family Guy? Then I was like, oh wait, yeah, Brianna.
Yeah, she not a looker, that Brianna, but I believe because she played basketball. Holy shit! I watch her out there. I think, geez, oh man. Okay, here's where we're finally catching up to you, Mike. Mark Malone says, if you had a skull, you wouldn't have to worry about people breathing on your neck.
It's growing out, boys.
Look at that.
Growing out.
Look at that.
Growing out.
My God.
Growing out.
Anything like it. Let's see. Tortilla says everyone loves GP except for Steeler. I love GP. I love GP. I get what you're saying.
Sometimes you just want to shake them. Like, George, don't be an idiot like I was at your age.
People are just kind of getting fed up with those kind of things. I think if he continues to grow and make positive steps, I think that'll all be forgotten. Like Plexico Burris.
Yeah,
everyone kind of thought he was a young, retarded guy, and coming out of Michigan State, and he ended up playing very well. And he still wasn't your ideal player. He still did some goofy things and was kind of flimsy.
But he's our goofy guy.
Yeah, and you know what? He won a Super Bowl in New York. I have nothing bad to say about Plex, but I think he could possibly fall in that same category. If you're talking about what we have with George, it seems like it's the same kind of guy.
Like, I'm hard on him because you see what he can be. You see what he can be, and it's like, come on, George, just lock it up, bud. Just lock it up.
Let's see. Mark Malone says I was a Laker fan. Truth be told. My oldest son's a huge Laker fan. I never got into the Lakers. I think, Mike, you like the Lakers, don't you?
Yeah, growing up at my house, like when we watched basketball, my dad would he'd always want to watch the Celtics and the Lakers. He's like, those are the two best teams. I'm not a big basketball guy, so I want to watch good basketball. Those are the teams I'm going to watch. So I grew up watching both. But man, those Showtime Lakers, man, that was so much fun for me to watch those guys play, and that's been my basketball team just because I grew up watching Magic and tail end of Kareem.
Keegan Murray went to Iowa. Tortilla Jackson says. Caleb says, I don't think you would ever eat fast food if you saw how they treated the cows. That's what I'm saying. I got to get a visual what's going on with these cows.
That makes them taste better.
I'm really concerned.
Suffering makes them taste better.
I'm really, because that's what they say. I'm like, the stress.
Yeah, what they do to them. Yeah.
It fucks with us. I mean, like the stress in the, what it does to the chemicals inside the cow.
Yeah.
That comes over to us as we eat it. So I don't know. Like I said, I kind of taking an interest in that. I want to see what's going on with these cows. Mac and DeGene or Jackie Robinson. Jesus God. What, Cooper DeGene? I dig this guy. I do. I think that and he's out of Iowa too, ain't he?
Yeah, he's out of Iowa, and my God, I thought he would have been a safety, but my God, his skills translated over to
well. That's why I like him, because
well.
You thought he was going to be a safety.
Yeah, like a nice zone safety.
And he's coming out as a corner, Mike, and a lot of people were saying that about him being a safety. But I that's why I'm even more intrigued by him, is because he did stick at corner, and he's good at playing corner. He had a big interception in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So good for him. Wasn't Steve Smith kind of like Pickens is now his whole career?
Yeah, but I think Smith knew how to keep it under control when he needed to keep it under control. But I see what you're saying, yeah. And I love Love Steve Smith. He was a feisty one. He was always fighting cornerbacks too. Wasn't oh god, always beating someone's ass down there from the Saints, just whooping ass. Yeah, he was a beast.
I thought he was all right till he went to Baltimore. After you go to
Yeah, yeah.
Baltimore, you lose me. I don't understand what would ever make a normal person make that decision, but there you go. Mike, so the Steelers, they lose out on a trade for Joe Milton. Here's another thing, guys. Send Mike a video for Ryan to enjoy about crab farming. Here's another one that I don't like. So these stats and numbers from the AFL, and we talked about
Yeah,
this yesterday, they're getting carried over. Mike, they had 11 teams. They had 12 teams. You had 11 teams. It's a lot easier. It shouldn't count as the NFL. Listen, you have to beat out 31 other
yeah,
teams in the NFL to get. They had 12
yeah.
teams, and if you're one of them, there's only 11 other teams you have to get through. That's a little bit more than the UFL. You might as well take the UFL record, the UFL records and stats, and put them in the NFL. I mean, come on, how dumb after all these years? Who came up with that idea, and who okayed the idea to put all the records and statistics and numbers from pre
Yeah.
Super Bowl era into Mike? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Again, I can't even believe this passed. I can't. Who came up with it? And who passed it?
I have no idea who did this, why they did it. I don't like it one bit. It's stupid. There were two completely different leagues, competing leagues, for it to happen.
Yes.
It's stupid. I don't like it. And now Browns fans can. Well, maybe it's just to make the Browns fans feel better, to give them something to talk about. That's the only thing I can
Well,
think.
now that they could come out and say that they have 10 Super Bowls, yeah, of course.
But they're not
If they
Super
say
Bowls. They're championships.
or they have 10
Yeah,
championships. So I mean, we're gonna have to hear that for the rest of
fuck
ever.
them. It's still clean.
So they had the 8 and then the 2
Yeah,
Baltimores, which they could claim it. You know what
yeah.
I mean? I
I
mean,
think it
come
was
on, that's who it
yeah.
was,
I
right?
think it was stupid for the league to do that. It made no sense whatsoever. I don't like it.
I hate it. It's so
Yeah,
dumb. It
like
literally there's no reason, Mike. There's no, like again, why would somebody come up with this? Who agreed with it, and then who okayed it? I mean, you got to not. Come on, it's the Super Bowl
yeah,
era, 1 through 60. It makes sense.
yeah,
You don't go from statistics from
yeah.
1933.
It's from the AFL.
It's retarded.
Everyone knows the NFL is AFL NFL merger on. And that's the only things that matter for the NFL. That stuff happened. That's football history. Yeah. They're recognized in the Hall of Fame, recognized for their own thing because it was a different league, and that's how it should be. Fuck
Steve
Cleveland.
Smith, the kind of guy to just assault you and tell you to calm down. One of my favorite players to watch. He was such a beast. He was such a beast on the field. No two ways about it. All the way back
Yeah.
to Carolina. When it was him opposite side. Who was it? Muhammad Mushin or somebody like this. But
Mushin
he
Muhammad,
always
I
caught
think.
your
Yeah.
he always caught your attention. Steve Smith always caught your attention. Then again, when he
Yep.
went to Baltimore, you've seen him more than you like. And
Yeah.
again, he's a pain in the ass. So it was what it was. He sparred with Darren Sharper a bit. Corey's saying.
Yep.
Which one is it? Okay, he's saying something that crab farm over. He said that he had already sent it. Tortilla says it's like saying the Steelers have never lost a UFL, right? Or because Pittsburgh was in the championship game 2 years ago in XFL, let's just throw another championship game onto the Steelers numbers.
Yeah.
Why not? I am not a big fan of that at all. I don't know the thought process. What even goes on into to even come up with this and make it through the steps that it needs to make it and get okay. It's just what a dumb thing. What a dumb thing. It's gematria and betting purposes. Corey says this also, Mike. I do want to. What is this? I saw this yesterday several times. Steelers announced partnership with the German soccer club.
Borussia Dortmund. Yeah.
What's the relevance of this? Who is anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
I just know like Borussia Dortmund is kind of from like the industrial area of Germany. The way Pittsburgh is, their colors are black and gold. I didn't get a chance to read the article. I have it saved somewhere, and I don't know if it's like. I think Borussia Dortmund might be playing like a preseason game um, in at Heinz Field coming up in the future and doing stuff like that when they come to America to help promote European soccer. But yeah, it's kind of cool. The Bro Dortmund's black and gold, Steelers black and gold, similar type regions from the country. Like just like that, like they're like a parallel type like city to Pittsburgh.
Does nobody ever really brought up Carson Wentz too much during all this this quarterback mess that we have? Carson Wentz's name just never really came up, has it?
No, no, thank
Not for the
God.
Steelers, at least. And you know who else? Also, I think somebody was a big Cousins guy on our board, Mike. But that's another guy, another name that just hasn't came up when it come down
Thank
to
God.
talking about Steeler quarterback situations. But yeah, I just again I don't like the stats thing. I don't like it. Not again. It's stupid. Why all of a sudden? Why all of a
Yeah,
sudden? Why after 60? Why at 60 Super Bowls you decided it? To me, that's why it's
yeah,
stupid. If you're gonna do it back then, do it back then. You don't
exactly.
do
Yeah,
it.
carry
You
carry
don't
them over.
change the field. Or what do you say, Mike? Move the field goal post in a sense. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Everyone knows like the league history was this. Now it's changed again. This
Yeah,
stuff happened. People know it happened. There's records for it for that league. Keep it that way.
right. I mean, the Arena Football League. We're not adding those numbers. I mean, come on.
Maybe we
It's
should.
Mike. It's entirely
Kurt
different
Warner would
league.
look at. I know.
It's
I know. It's stupid.
just like that was. It was an entirely different league. Let's put
Yeah.
in the Arena Football numbers and shoot. Let's throw Canadian football. Why not at this point?
Yeah. It's
Throwing
stupid.
everything in. A couple things that I'm happy about, Mike. I'm happy that the mock drafts are going to be done soon. I'm not the big
Me
mock
too.
draft guy. You're the mock draft guy of the group, though.
Yeah.
I'm not a and I'm not a mock. I just think it's a lot of it's a waste of time. A lot of it's just people's opinions,
It's
and
yeah.
again,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, with that crab video. Every time my eye catches something up the side of my screen, I always see the word crab.
I,
Yeah, so I'm through with the mock drafts. I'm glad the draft is less than 3 weeks away. I truly am. And again, if you don't know, somebody could trade in the
yep.
third pick,
Oh,
and that
that's
ruins
why. Yeah.
your whole mock draft. I mean, it's
The
again,
whole mock
it's like
draft. Yeah.
it's almost like fantasy football in a sense. It just
Yeah.
it just is. What else? What else, Mike? And I do want to throw out there one more time, and I'll say it again at the end. Don't forget Wednesday, and we'll remind you next week as well. Next Wednesday, that's the big night out. I don't know what they're doing as far as I know that they're selling a lot of tickets to go. I don't know if it'll be streaming or if it'll be anything that you would be able to watch if you're not nearby. But again, that's when people are expecting Aaron Rodgers to possibly make his decision. Will be next Wednesday on the PMS show on the big night out, 8:00 start. What else, Mike? I'm through with mock drafts. I can't say that enough. I do. Mike, who do you think?
Yeah.
Not who do you want? Not who do you think is going to be the best situation? Who do you think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are actually going to draft at number 21,
Oh.
or if they trade, move up, down, around, whatever? Honestly, truthfully, who do you think is going to be walking up on that stage to grab their jersey in the first round for the Steelers?
I do not know, because you can close your eyes, throw it at a dartboard, land on a position, and find a player in the first round we need. Whether it be
Mike, is
quarterback,
that an
running
indication
back.
you're saying Jackson Dart?
No.
Who uses the dart to explain it, but not be talking about dart?
I wasn't using it to explain Jackson Dart. You just close your eyes, fine. You just close your eyes, pick a name out of a hat of first round talent, and you take that guy. You can go anywhere from like Luther Burden, the wide receiver. You go M'Baka, the wide receiver. You can go Hampton, the running back out of North Carolina. You can go Derek Harmon, the D lineman out of Oregon. You can go any position. Me, I still think it might be a wide receiver in the first round.
Maybe like Caleb said, maybe it's going to be Michael Crabtree. Guys, let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Mike. Plain, dead straight out, yes or no, is Aaron Rodgers going to be a Steeler?
Yes.
All right, there you go. I think they take. I think I listen. Somebody's saying, yeah. You know what? I just saw that actually. Somebody just had that somewhere with Omarion Hampton and Kyle McCord. It might have been. It might have been Sports Illustrated. Somebody had the two biggest needs or the
Yeah.
two first probable picks for the Steelers, and I just read that this morning actually with Hampton and
Yeah.
McCord. I think they take Jackson. I think they think they're aggressive. They get their quarterback. Aaron Rodgers again. If he wants to be here, if they have a secret agreement, which it's funny that word's being used now around Pittsburgh
Yeah.
that we've been saying for about 3 weeks, but everybody's using this word secret agreement now, a secret. And if that's the case, okay, bring him in. Let's see what Aaron Rodgers can
Yeah.
do at this point in his life. I mean, it's our best option until we get that other guy, maybe a quarterback in the draft, maybe even Manning. Arch Manning next year in the draft is another possibility, of course, for trying to find yourself a good quarterback, Mike. Hampton, Maurice. Okay, Maurice Jones. Drew said it. Okay, gotcha on the Hampton
Yeah.
McCord. But if he's not, Mike, if he's pulling us around by our dick, you know what I say? F him. F Aaron Rodgers. Send him into retirement.
Yeah.
Screw him. Let him take us. Let him play around. And then when he takes it down to the last minute to try to put us in a position, probably pay him more money or whatever, just be like, bro, you know what? We're not interested anymore. Let him expire all his options
Exactly.
because he doesn't care if it happens to us. He doesn't care if it happens to anybody. Let him expire his options, and then at the very end, when he's about to make the decision, be like, nah, you know what? We're good, and send his ass to retirement. Screw him. Screw him when he beat us in the Super Bowl. Screw him ever since. I don't know. All of a sudden, everybody's okay with this guy. I've never liked Aaron Rodgers. But again, if they have something worked out, and he's going to come and be productive and throw some balls around to our new receiver and our offense and get us scoring some points. I'm cool with that. But if he's being a dick, we got to be a dick back. That's just my opinion. If he's being a dick, send him into retirement. I don't care about the guy. Come on. Let's get on the board here, Mike. I believe you mean Maurice Jones Crab. Tortilla is saying, no, it's Maurice Jones Jew. And then Caleb comes back. You mean Jones Jim Palmer? Oh man,
Jim Palmer,
guys
baby.
Great on the board. On the board today. A lot of good comments on the board. No two ways about that. They always good, Mike. Why don't you go ahead and jump the gun? We'll get on the get in the trivia. Go ahead and tell everybody about the website.
The2dumbyinjures.com. Check it out, everyone. You know what we got over there? We got the blog over there, which has Ryan's favorite topic for the past month and a half, mock drafts, baby. Mock drafts. Check it out. If you're still tired of them, still check it out. Let me know what you think if you go over there and see it. We got the merch store over there as well. Check it out at the2dumbyinjures.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2winjers.com. That's www.the2winjers.com. A lot of cool things over there. Mike puts a lot of work into it over there, so go check things out. I just had something right on the tip of my tongue I wanted to talk about. I don't recall. I don't recall what it was. Caleb says he also has a good trivia question, so maybe we'll do 2 trivia questions today. My question is because it is opening day, so whatever Caleb has will be separate. He's saying nobody's going to get it, so let me get mine in, and then we'll see what Caleb's is. This is a Pittsburgh Pirates trivia question because it's the home opener for the Pirates today at 4-1-2 at 4:12. Of course, the game starts against the Yankees in town with their torpedo bats. Question of the day, Mike. Put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. Question of the day. Which Pirates legend passed away on the first opening day at PNC Park in 2001? Which Pirates legend passed away on the first opening day at PNC Park in 2001? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on YouTube. All right, so the question of the day is this. Which Pirates legend passed away on the first opening day at PNC Park in 2001, the day of the opener? Here we are, 24 years later. Mike, you seem to have you look like you have an answer. One more time on the question. Which Pirate legend passed away on the first opening day at PNC Park in 2001? Mike, who was it?
We Pops Willie Stargell.
Pops Willie Stargell. Is that your final answer?
Answer.
All right, I'm locking you in, Mike, on Pops. Question of the day is, which Pirates legend passed away on the first opening day at PNC Park back in 2001? Mike says Willie Stargell. The answer, guys, to the question, Willie Stargell. I was there. I was in the parking lot. That was, and Mike, that was when I couldn't. I had to hold my piss in. And
Yeah.
that was when that was what was going on when Willie Stargell died. I was holding my piss.
See, I remember that happening because like when the news broke, I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's Willie Stargell. I never saw him play, but it's like Willie Stargell. You knew him. Like, it sucked. Put a damper on the day. But I also remembered you asked this last year and I think the year before too, for every home opener.
I had peed in beer bottles. Like I was at that point where all my beer bottles were full because I couldn't get into a John anywhere. Oh, it was so uncomfortable. Like when you're in the car and you get the bubble guts. You got to shit, and you can't. But every bump you make,
it makes it worse.
Back your next stand. Yinzer Joe says, I really don't think Rodgers is being a dick. He says this is his first ever time being a free agent. I think he's just weighing it all out. Why shouldn't he have that right? After all, he already did in the NFL. Caleb says, who are the only two NFL quarterbacks with better than 5-0 record versus Tom Brady? At least 5 wins and no. Oh wow. Oh wow. Russell Wilson.
I'm gonna go Mark Sanchez and Eli Manning.
I'll go with that too. I have no idea. Yeah, yesterday you did get that right. Willie Stargell. I think it was the day of his memorial statue.
Oh yeah,
you know what it was?
Correct. I think he was right. The statue was unveiled that day too.
Oh, the big statue. Yes.
Yeah, it was that day. Yeah.
It was a loss too. We played the Reds. It was April 8th or April 9th. We lost to the Reds. Sean Casey. You remember Sean Casey?
Yeah, the mayor.
Played for the Reds. 6-2, 6-2, 6-3, something like that. We did lose though. Not much has changed, Mike. But they will be back at it today. So let's see. Tua and Jake Plummer.
Wow. See,
they have 5 wins and no losses. Is that combined between the two of them?
Yeah, combined all-time versus.
Okay.
See, reason I want Mark Sanchez, I knew it had to be someone obscure that you wouldn't think of. But Jake Plummer is even more obscure. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even know Tua played them. I mean, how many times could they have possibly played one another with Tua, right?
He was still in New England at the time. Brady wasn't. Tua's been in the league for 4 years, 5 years now. So, yeah, there's good overlap there.
Well, he hasn't won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay for like 3 years or 4 years.
There's overlap. Damn.
That doesn't seem like a lot. When was the last time Jake Plummer played? We beat him in the
but Brady played for like 95 years.
Wow,
that's nuts.
Each of them are 5-0. Tua beat Brady 5 times, is what you're saying, and never lost. You're right. I wouldn't have got this. I can't even. It's crazy. Tua is 5-0 against Tom Brady. I just got to make sure that I'm understanding that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Tua is 5-0 against Tom Brady, and Plummer is 5-0. Wow. I'm having a hard time even wrapping my head around
I can tell. You are. Your brain is.
Well, is anybody else? Why do I find this so unusual?
I don't know. It's true. Yeah.
Is it correct?
Yeah. He's 5.
Are you looking?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. 4-0 in the regular season, 1-0 in the playoffs.
Who?
Tua versus Brady.
That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And no losses.
Yeah.
That's got to be the most amazing statistic I've ever heard. Never lost it. Two of them never lost a game versus the. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And Jake
And
Plummer?
Jake Plummer. Yeah.
How? How is that even how? What? Am I in a Twilight Zone? What's going on? Why does nobody else seem surprised by this? It's insane. I didn't even imagine the two have played Brady 5
Yeah.
times.
Well, if they overlap 2 years, sweep them in the regular season and beat them in the playoffs one time.
Is that what happened? I don't remember. I don't recall the Dolphins sweeping the Patriots 2 years in a
Yeah.
row. I don't think that happened. And the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game this century. How could they have beat them in the playoffs? The
I don't
Dolphins
know.
haven't even.
I don't know.
They won.
That's just what it says. I researched it. I fact checked it.
Ninja Joe said Brady retired at 45. Why can't Rodgers play until he wants to retire? People think just because you're old, you're cashing out. I mean, nobody's telling him not to play. I think the point is, we just kind of want to know what you're doing. It's kind of a business. There's kind of millions of dollars and it's a deli. If you're you know, F you. If he's being a dick, I'm just let's see. I actually do remember Miami keep beat. I can't imagine they beat them 4 times in a row. Come on, the Patriots, the Brady. I mean, if you're right, you're right. I'm just having a hard time accepting that was the case, guys. I can't believe it. I just don't remember that at all. But that is, you're right. I did not get that, Caleb. You're 100% right. That's a good one. But as far as Aaron Rodgers goes, again, if he's here, cool. If he's not, and other decisions need to be, people need to do their job, and we have to figure out what we're going to get. Then, if if it's not going to be him, we have to figure out what it is we're going to do. And having the uncertainty certainly isn't a good thing for us, and that's all I care about. In all honesty, at the end of the day, Mark Malone, it was getting to the point where I wanted to start putting money on the games. I'm in such disbelief of these numbers. I am, not because I doubt you. I just have to see it for myself. When I get off the air, I have to look at this. I can't even believe it. And here's the thing: our Hall of Fame quarterback couldn't beat the Patriots for nothing, and these two schlubs, they're 5-0 against them,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like when that backup quarterback or the backup goalie comes in, you're like, oh, this should be an easy win. Next thing you know, you can't do diddly poo against them. It defies all logic.
It really does. What a way to end the week for me. I'm stunned.
Yeah.
I'm truly stunned by this. But guys, we do have a lot going on this weekend. If you are a Pittsburgh sports fan, the Penguins do have 2 games this weekend, tomorrow and Sunday, as they travel to Dallas and Chicago. After this weekend, Mike, they only have 4 games left on their schedule. The Penguins close to wrapping up their season. The Pirates are hosting the New York Yankees this weekend, starting today. Game 1, the home opener is at 4:12, a 4:12 start. Tomorrow they do host the Yankees again at 4:05. And then on Sunday, Mike, 1:35, game 3 of the series. Mitch Keller is pitching tonight.
Let's go, Mitch.
Also, Mike, in the NCAA, the women, the gals play tonight. Number 1 Texas versus number 1 South Carolina. That game starts at 7:00 p.m. And they will play the winner. The winner of that will play the winner of number 2 UConn and number 1 UCLA, which starts at 8:49 tonight. Those 2 winners will face off on Sunday at 8:50 for the 3 o'clock on Sunday for the national championship for the gals. The guys is an 8:50 start on Monday. They start playing tomorrow. Mike, number 1 Florida takes on number 1 Auburn, 6:09, and also number 1 Houston and number 1 Duke, 8:49. That's the championship game that's going to be at 8:50 on Monday night. All number 1 teams, Mike. Again, UConn girls are the only team that's not a number 1 team out of all 8 teams. What else we got here? What else we got here? Penguins, Pirates. The UFL, Mike. The UFL, they're back in action today. This is week 2. Pretty exciting first week. Tonight, the Birmingham Stallions take on Michigan. That game's at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, Memphis takes on DC. Also an 8 o'clock start. Sunday, Houston versus Arlington at noon. And Sunday is also San Antonio at St. Louis. Is a 6:30 start. So there is all kind of fun stuff to watch this weekend, Mike. There is live American football on your TV. I love that. A lot of things with our teams here in Pittsburgh. We've got a big series against the Yankees. Let's see how terrible and how bad we can mess that up. And also, Mike, at the beginning of next week, we're going to get some Derpy back. I think a lot of people are excited to hear that as well. So a lot of good things moving ahead. Draft is less than 3 weeks away.
Oh, I can't wait.
Do check out tonight, though. Do check out at 9:30 over right here on the network. Check out the two cranky jag offs at 9:30 as Finch and Tim. They're back at it tonight. I always check these guys out. I can't wait. They were off
Good
last
show.
week because Finch was in Vegas. So they'll be live again tonight. So it's not going to be the clip show like it was last week. They'll be back live tonight at 9:30. So if you're over there, I might see you over there. Mike, anything before we do get ready to wrap up here?
I saw that Jackson Dart is in town for the top 30 visit. So take that for what it's worth. Him and a couple other players are in town. So, my God, like you said, man, 3 weeks away, we'll finally figure out, like, do we get a rookie quarterback? Is it Dart? Is it Will Howard? Is it Chuck? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? God, I can't wait. I can't wait 3 more weeks till the draft. But, once again, though, but thank you, everyone, for tuning in, man. It's been a fun week.
Also, Mike, one other thing that I did fail to mention: former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Miles Boykin is going to the Chicago Bears. So Miles Boykin, such a productive player while he was here, but he was good on special teams.
He's a great special teams player, yeah.
But now he's even older, so who knows? Again, Chicago, we'll see what they can do. Miles Boykin on his way to Chicago. Caleb says, any update on the Pipers in the ABA playoff picture? New Orleans Buccaneers looks unbeatable. I do want to say thank you for coming and hanging out, everybody. Thank you for checking us out. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. Everybody on the board, you guys are amazing as always keeping things interesting here on this show. Thank you guys. And then everybody at home, in the car, in the gym, maybe you're taking a walk, maybe you're at work. No matter what it is, we thank you as well. Again, guys, a lot of good sports over the weekend. We'll be back first thing on Monday to talk about that and much, much more. And again, Mike, we are less than 3 weeks away to the NFL draft. I can't believe it.
I can.
You could taste it. And again, you have football. In the meantime, you have some spring football to watch too. A lot of good basketball and such. And again, don't forget about these Pirates, like the home opener today against the Yankees. That game starts at 4:12. But like I said, everybody, we will be back first thing in the morning to talk about all that stuff and much, much more. Mike, last time, brother, anything? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I got nothing, man. I'll see y'all back here Monday. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
That's right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Again, we appreciate everybody. Thank you. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two dumb Yinzers.